Oh, absolutely. Look, at this critical time in Canada's history, this federal election represents an important opportunity for each federal party to describe how they intend to build a strong and mutually beneficial relationship between the Crown and First Nations. So Canada's economic success and future stability depend on First Nations being full and equal partners in decision making, because our rights are affirmed in our inherent rights are affirmed in treaty, recognized in Canadian and international law, and they must be upheld. Look, over $560 billion of projects are forecasted to be launched on our traditional lands over the next decade. And the potential benefit of these projects is in the trillions of dollars. They represent a cornerstone of Canada's future economic growth. But I'm going to say, like, right off the bat, that many of these projects are not going to advance unless you have the support of First Nations. So I look to Canadians to begin to work with First Nations and build relationships. And so, prosperity, the document that we released today, Prosperity for All, it sets out key policy priorities where First Nations are seeking commitments from federal party leaders and all candidates related to economic reconciliation, the Canada-US trade and border mobility, the well-being of First Nations children, families, and future generations, the calls to action to the Truth and Reconciliation Commission of Canada, and calls for justice of the national inquiry into missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. So this election is an opportunity for federal party leaders to renew their commitments to reconciliation and to demonstrate their readiness to realize the full potential of First Nations economy in this country. I guess the question is not just if they support First Nations rights. The question is, what actions will they take to uphold these rights? So Prosperity for All has been shared with each political party. The AFN has invited a response and offered to explore opportunities that can facilitate direct dialogue between chiefs and leaders. Last week, the AFN released analysis of the 2021 federal election results that confirms First Nation voters are likely to determine the outcome in dozens of electoral districts this month. So with the election underway, we encourage chiefs and First Nations across the country to engage federal leaders and their local candidates to make their voices heard over the coming weeks. The full Prosperity for All First Nations priorities for the 2025 federal election, the document is available on the AFN website at www.afn.ca. So we look forward to meeting with, I've talked to all political parties already, and they've all agreed to meet with, with First Nations chiefs and leaders. And, we'll be coordinating that discussion between the leaders and First Nations in the weeks ahead.